Hey guys, Larry Olubamiwo from the Gym Rat Pack back at you again with another video. And yeah, the boys are not back today. Leon and Damien are busy doing all sorts, so you've got me again. And yeah, just wanted to talk about the this is the review for the AJ versus Helenius fight that we saw on the weekend. And I've seen quite a few reviews for it from certain people, and while I understand why they're quite negative about AJ's performance, and I'm not going to be as negative. I understand why they're negative, but I kind of feel like the way he fought in this fight is warranted. So anyway, let's go through the fight, and then we'll pick apart what everyone's grievances is and what I think as well. So, as we know, AJ stopped Helenius with a almighty overhand right in the seventh round, and the way he set up that shot was fantastic, I have to say. He did a great job in setting up that shot, and throughout the fight, you can see that he was getting Helenius ready to be taken out. He was just taking his time. He was using a lot of footwork. After watching it a second and third time, I realized that Derek James was getting him to use a lot of footwork, especially after the third round, I think, which is good to see. It's good to see. He was throwing quite a few shots to the body, especially the jab to the body, which for a heavyweight is quite important. Especially that's how he got the knockout shot. He set up the jab to the body and then came with the overhand right. Terry Dunstan was really good at that shot, and he taught me how to line up those shots quite well. I thought it was a competent performance by AJ. He showed a few different things in there. He showed that his ring IQ is growing, and I gave the performance a 7.5 out of 10. The only things that I thought that he lacked was punch variety, stroke, punch combinations, and lack of initiation. So I'll go into that. So the punch variety, he was throwing no more than 2 shots every time. It'll be 1 or 2 shots, and I don't think as a heavyweight that, especially with a heavyweight that has, obviously, and I don't mean no disrespect to AJ, but obviously has the confidence issues that AJ now has, I don't think 1 or 2 shots is going to deter a determined heavyweight. We know that Robert Helenius wasn't determined in this fight. He was, he's obviously a late replacement. He was probably, most likely paid very good money to save the show. And he was thanked afterwards by AJ for doing that. So yeah, he didn't come to win. Although I will say he did put up a credible performance considering the circumstances. He looked quite loose in there afterwards when he started to get his confidence. When he and I think that was part of the problem of that problem was exacerbated by AJ not letting his hands go per se, like 3, 4s, and 5s. Now I think in my mind the reason why he wasn't letting off 3, 4s, and 5s punch combinations instead of the 1s and 2s is because obviously the more punches you throw, the more vulnerable you are. And you could see throughout the fight, he was trying to reduce his vulnerability during exchanges, which obviously he's worked on with Derek James, which is, it's smart. It's smart boxing. And it's a good tactic to have. The only problem I have is that if this is the fight you are going to have before Wilder, this isn't adequate preparation. Because Wilder, you are going to have to throw 3, 4s, and 5s as Fury had to, and you're going to have to back him up, and you're going to have to put yourself in the line of fire. This is why fighting Deontay Wilder is, for anyone, is a dangerous proposition. I mean, you saw the 3 fights with Fury, especially the 3rd fight when Fury, you know, really tried to back him up. You are going to be in the firing line. There's no way. There's no two ways about it. You've just got to make sure that your punches count. And so that, in that respect, that's why I kind of feel like AJ didn't let his punches go, and it was a detriment. If he's going to have another fight after this, which he kind of intimated that he wants to, although whether he will, you know, with 60 million on the line, you know, from the Saudis for that one fight. You know, but I think Deontay Wilder will be next. I don't think he'll have another fight. It'll be great if he did, but you know, I don't think it's necessary, because at this moment in time, my mind anyway, Deontay Wilder wins that fight with AJ. But I'll get into that in a little bit later. So AJ looked better with his footwork. He looked better with his patience. But I will say that he didn't back up Helenius enough. Now, Helenius didn't come to fight, and you know that from the different ways that he fought Deontay Wilder as opposed to AJ. He went, and that's why Deontay Wilder was able to knock him out in the 1st round, because he went into Deontay. And like I said, if you do that, you are going to catch a shot. And Deontay has just got that equalizer with that power. So, yeah, it's it's one of those ones. But I kind of feel like if AJ catches him enough, because AJ is a very powerful puncher himself, he could stop Deontay late. But as we've seen with Fury, and Fury is a very hard puncher, believe me, Deontay can take a shot and he can get up from being on the floor. So, you know, it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be tricky. The other thing with AJ that I found with this fight, actually, let me just go point out something. I think Dylan really did himself a disservice popping dirty for this fight, because based on that performance by AJ, he had a good chance of winning. Now, I'm sure most people, me included, thought that before Dylan popped, tested positive, that AJ was going to beat Dylan. He was the overwhelming favourite. But like I said, based on this performance, there's an argument to be made that this was probably Dylan's best chance of beating AJ. Because you know Dylan would have gone for it. So who knows? But anyway, that's by the by. Dylan's got his own fight to clear his name, which I don't think he's going to be able to do. But anyway, we digress. So AJ, I kind of feel like, to sum up, basically, this wasn't great preparation for Deontay Wilder fight. Now, he's at the stage of his career, the twilight of his career, where you don't really need all this learning on the job stuff that people keep coming up with. You've been a world champion twice. There's no more learning on the job. You know what I mean? You've done all the learning you're going to do. Now it's time to just perform. So in that respect, I don't think he needs another warm-up fight for Deontay. Now, you're one of the best in the world. You need to fight the other best in the world. And you've got 60 million to boot to do that. So, you know, the reason why I'm saying that, though, that I don't think, based on this and other fights, that AJ can beat Deontay, is because Deontay Wilder has proven himself in numerous fights, not just the Fury fight, that he can come from behind and win fights. There are numerous fights, because obviously it gets chucked around a lot, and it's true that AJ is the better boxer than Wilder. I think no one will dispute that, right? But that doesn't really matter. When you've got power like Deontay Wilder has, it doesn't really matter. He was losing against Ortiz. He knocked Ortiz out. He was losing against Gerald Washington, the guy Chisora just beat. He was losing that fight, knocked him out. There's numerous other fights he was losing, and he managed to upset the apple cart and get a knockout victory. That's just how crazy his power is. So while there is always a possibility that AJ could stop Deontay, he is going to find it difficult. He's not going to just knock him out with one punch, because Fury didn't do that in 3 fights. And while it could be argued that AJ is a slightly harder puncher than Fury, I wouldn't say there's a lot of difference there. So Deontay is always going to be in that fight, you know, and let's be honest, Deontay only has to touch AJ once. That's the reality of this fight that's coming up. Deontay only has to touch AJ once, and it's lights out, you know. Whereas I feel like Deontay can take a few more AJ shots before that actually happens to Deontay. So it's going to be an interesting fight. This is a fight that I definitely want to see. Not that it adds anything to the heavyweight division, but it's a nice fight to have. It's a legacy fight, as they say. I don't like using that word legacy, but I mean it's a era defining fight. When you see the best fighting each other in an era, as you saw in the golden era of the heavyweight boxing, you know, with Muhammad Ali and Norton and Frazier and all those guys, when they all fought each other, it kind of defined, you know, who's the top dog. And I kind of feel like it needs to be done now as well. Obviously, we've seen Tyson duck Usyk, which isn't good. And yeah, we want to see AJ and Deontay. And if AJ manages to win that fight, then we want to see him against Tyson Fury. You know, start get these heavyweights fighting each other. But yeah, I kind of feel like it was a decent performance. It wasn't fantastic, but it was decent. He showed improvement. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else is going to come from AJ. Obviously, he's going to get to spend a bit more time with Derek James. So hopefully he picks up a few more things. And obviously, I'm rooting for him to beat Deontay. I want him to beat Deontay. But at this moment in time, I think me and most other people would have Deontay Wilder as the favorite, but it's heavyweight boxing, anything can happen, man. So yeah, guys, listen, let me know what you thought of the fight, and let me know what you think would happen if AJ fights Deontay Wilder. Leave a comments down below. Yeah.